what is sitting there right now? Your language is controlling your perception about you, my dear friends. You see as the form that is sitting there wearing a dress with an identity. Basically, you are nothing but a flesh, blood, skeleton thing sitting there. Your words are not written anywhere in your body. Your bloody memories are not registered anywhere in your body. Only your language is maintaining in the you. Okay. If it is so, let that language create and maintain a supreme being in you. Try that. Anyway, you are represented by your language. Okay? Alright. Anyway, one thing is sure, that ultimate powers of the intellect and the mind, in that context, every human being is a clear raw material. And that raw materialness is available even now. So it needs to be developed to the fullest. And some individuals happen to develop it, or other reasons I don't want to mention because it can be a little bit disadvantageous information. But having those 90 trillion whatever number of neurons in the brain, there is much scope for further evolution. It's 22 hours. And that can be accessed by this kind of strategies. As I told you, almost all the mystics of the past and as well as the geniuses of the modern times, they all were born and brought up in very unique environmental details, mostly associated with the nature processes. I mean, forests and mountains and rivers and huge fields of flowers and birds and things like that. Nature. Basically, a human being is nothing but a creature of the planet Earth, like any other bird or lion or cat or whatever. So its systems are programmed, its systems are very sensitive to the nature process. And in that nature process, there is nothing that talks back to you. I would send a small message to every one of you that almost everything that you deal with every day, none of them talks back to you. Only human beings talk back. And human beings are all rigorously trained, threateningly trained to interact only with human beings, by which we have lost the real touch with the so-called reality, not a philosophical reality, I mean the reality including the reality, that physical, material environment of you. And the reality outside your normal movement, and the reality that you can see when you look up in the night, in that huge sky and the stars, and possibly if there are trees or the silhouettes or the mountains or hills, if there are. And there is nothing very fascinating to just keep on looking at empty space. That's why most people are not doing that. But just to do it and train your sensitivity systems to be inspired to do so. Because the entire creature is exposed to this vast field, air field or energy field of the nature process. But the human beings, their so-called intellect, their so-called self, what is that all nonsense words? The so-called operating principle, operating agent, that operating driver in that body, so small and so puny, is not able to derive the benefits of the creature in its interface with the nature process where it really belongs to. Every moment you intake the air of that nature, and you drink the water of that nature, and you eat the food of that nature, See? But all the time the so-called mind or the self is filled with the languages of whatever concept about the self or the operating environment. I don't know whether you are able to differentiate this. I am trying my best to conceptualize it into words. You know.
The biggest problem, sir, I think, is that there is so much of stimuli which people are exposed to. And
what stimuli you mean?
Normally, I think people at a work level are exposed to your mobile phones, your laptops, etc. You're not taking space out to reflect.
That is okay. All right, agree. That's only that work time. What about at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or half an hour or 1 hour of your night time, non-work time? Okay, not every day, but at least once in a week. Why do we do this? I have to tell you. I have to sell this idea to you. Because the real blowing is at the end of your life. Okay? Whereas the great majority of people are all dwindling, getting tired, getting mentally weak and disturbed and retarded, luckily retarded, beyond the age of 65, 70, 75. The so-called, whatever I am naming as a genius in self, or a mystic individual, or a rishi, if you use that word, is going on blowing. And then at that point of time, there is no sense, there is no use of telling that I was the CEO of a big company, I have this great bank balance, I have big buildings and apartments and cars and fame and all that will not work. All preparation is for that, for managing that mostly lonely evening of our existence. That is the test of your existence. So Nitya is interviewing people. Interview some retired people. And then you will know. I am sure you will not come across somebody who is really fascinating, who is really spirited. If there is, that person would be definitely having a unique background, unique mindset, unique wisdom and understanding. Otherwise it is not possible. Because like Tintin said, throughout the major time of development, you are into this operating world. Most of the time in the normal stimulus environment, normal working environment, in the stupidly constructed cities and concrete jungles. Okay? They are not suitable to the human flesh and blood creature. They are only fascinating to our visuals. And it is so capturing, like Tintin said, it is full of stimulus. You just walk through the city, you can see in Bangalore, what you call Brigade Road or MG Road and all that, people are just walking through the city. That is the way they manage their mind. They just cannot sit at home. Because sitting at home meaning they feel miserable. So these are all kind of sales talk which I am making, so that you should be determined to live a beautiful life at the end of the road. There is a beautiful short story in Malayalam language written by one of the real mystic writers by name Vaikam Muhammad Bashir. One of his well-known stories, it was named in Malayalam, in Duppapak or Aanendarnu. That means one guy, he was sitting at home, useless, no income, he was not ready to work, and most of the days that he was married and had children, he would go around asking people for money or food or support systems. And he always say that he belongs to a big family. He belonged, his family background was something very big. And they had even elephants, because having an elephant at home was the greatest credit of so-called aristocratic families of the past in that particular location or that particular culture in Kerala state of that time. So, Endupapa Anandarna meaning, my grandfather had an elephant. I belong to that family. No use. Yes, grandfather had elephants, maybe he owned an entire kingdom, but I don't have anything. And because of that thought process, it becomes a mental block and he was not able to work. And the other people are telling him, you go for some work, and his mindset is not allowing him to work. That's a reality. And people are all today saving money for their old age. That's compulsory, because if nothing happens, they can go and eat food and stay in an old age home. You go to some old age home and meet the people there, whether in Sydney or in Los Angeles or in California or in New York. Nobody knows their mindset. Nobody is close to them. So, having exposed to this kind of a session, my intention about this program is to make you people absolutely rock solid like an eagle in the sky, flying so beautifully even on the last minute. And that is possible only by your power of the intellect, power of your being. And that power of the being can be developed only by our attention getting tuned with that being. Like a well-tuned engine, automobile engine. Engines we are able to make in very good tuning. Because it is physical material, there is a lot of technology behind it, it's all clear, you can assemble it, calibrate it, engine speed, fuel combination, electronics, everything is materially controlled. See, even machine is an example. Is there a comparable clarity of control systems in I will not say my body, in your body? And that is possible by this kind of exercises. That's what I suggested, do it. Its benefits will not be revealed the next day. You will know it by the time you are 65 or 70 or 75 or 80. Or 85 or 90 or 95 or 100, okay. Otherwise the body will go weak, because body is never attended to. Our attention to the body is eating good food and giving a bath and wearing good dress and sitting in comfortable zones. That is not the thing. Okay, so the reality. That's what I mean. The reality is, it is very difficult to see the reality, because so-called reality, what is that English word used? That physical environment of you, for example. In that, all the things in that room exist together. But your observations on them, controlled by language, is one after the other. Because language is linear. Linear meaning it goes in one sentence, one word at a time. And our minds are language controlled, language generated, language maintained. That's why you have to focus on the creature at that holistic level. That's why you have to focus on the sky, focus on huge landscapes, without focusing on any particular thing. See one, but at the same time, you have to be wide open eyes, it is called. Because the reality is in web, it's a web, everything is interconnected, everything is there at the same time. time we use as the chronological time. But our perceptions about them is one after the other, because perceptions are controlled by our awareness about them. It is trained by our language, our thinking process, which is always linear. You can think only one line about a thing at one time. And we can talk only one line at a time. That of course is. But our perception should be based on network reality. You have to see everything at the same, to practice it. And develop your own philosophy about a reality. And develop your own clarity about the world. I mean, world is not that important for you, it is there. Nowadays, because of internet and mobile phones, everybody thinks that he or she belongs to the world. That itself is the evidence of the stupidity of the modern human beings. You ask your own mindset. You think that you belong to a huge world, okay? It is a development that happened over the last 20-24 years. People talk about stupid concept of global village. What do they mean by that word? Can you even visualize, can you imagine the number of people in the very city that you are there? Can you see all of them? Can you visualize, can you visualize a crowd standing before you? Okay, you can utilize some photographs when Prime Minister comes, the crowd photograph. Can you imagine the size of Sydney or Bangalore or Australia or India? Can you imagine the size of the planet Earth? It is possible, provided you are able to get out of that linear language process in you. Provided you train your sensitivity to just feel the huge skies and the huge surroundings and the wide open reality. Let us say non-focused vision, let us say so. And think about language, it's a very important topic, because language is controlling the world. Our world is controlled by language and language and language only. This was a topic which we discussed in the last meeting also. What the politicians do, political leadership do, continuous delivery of language. You look at the way language is surrounding you. You are engulfed in language. Wherever you go, there is language. And if you are walking through a busy street alone, if there is no language, you don't hear any language. But then there is an internal language going on. So all the time, external language when you interact with somebody, or internal language. Constantly try to get out of that, detach out of that. And understand the troubles created by language. Understand the tragedy created by language. What is, for example, a religion? What is Christianity? What is Islam? It is all language. They are using a different word to talk about the so-called only one God. They are just describing in language some set of variables along with their definition of their God in their name. Christianity uses the word Yahweh or whatever it is. They cannot use the word Brahman. They cannot use the word Parashakti. The Parashakti meaning the superpower, for example, the way they think. Okay. They cannot use the word Allah. Allah is a word of that language. Entire Quran is in that language. Entire Bible is in that, is a description in that language only. And how much you have been all a victim of that language. And they have your names, eh, Muslim names, Christian names, Hindu names. See? These are all, let me tell you, these are all necessary for managing the mediocre majority.
Yes, sir.
You know, often everybody should wonder, even Naveen and I, we wonder why psychology is not made a compulsory subject. It is a bloody conspiracy. It's a bloody conspiracy of the American policy, controlled by the Catholic philosophy, controlled by the Christian philosophy. Because the moment psychology is accepted, the foundation of Christianity will crumble down. It is not my words, okay? So, understand how language is trapping people. And I want you to be in that mystic position. This is not a talk I am making to a general audience. I would make that also, but I have stopped it. Because it's of no use. Increasingly, every new generation is a deteriorated generation. Definitely deteriorated generation. You have to be, like I have become, I cannot talk to you like this all the time. You have to talk like me within another 5 years. Or you have to think like me. And if you are not willing to do that, stop attending this program. Because the world cannot be changed by anybody. Nobody can change the world. Nobody. Even if the so-called God appears here, whether whoever God, whichever, nobody can do that. Nobody. Because there is a normal distribution of population. That is the fundamental concept of psychology. And nobody seems to be aware of that, which is cleverly manipulated by the political leaders and the religious leaders and the corporate criminals. Increasingly. Do you understand? And within another 5 or 10 years, the entire world is going to be controlled by corporations, which is already happening. Every government will be just nothing but slaves of huge corporations. And they will manipulate governments, they will manipulate religions, and they will manipulate the economy. And now they are manipulating even the well-being of human beings. Release a virus into the world and then release the vaccine. That is the business already, and that will be the business, sustainable business of the future. Definitely within an year, another new virus will come, followed by a vaccine. So, these are all going to be there. And you do not know, you do not interact with people, only people like us, only some few psychologists. When I talk about psychology, I am also very careful, because only very few people are genuinely interested in psychology also. You can look into the internet. In majority of universities in the world, more than 70 to 75% of students are girls. It is a pastime for them to join psychology.
Yes, sir, yeah.
And most of them discontinue. In between they get married or whatever, or it is just a pastime, that's all. I don't even talk about me as a psychologist to anybody, because I despise psychology at the same time, because most of the psychologists in the world are idiots. I'm saying practicing psychologists. No other professionals are so stupid. No other professionals are so stupid. Because only a highly creative person can be a psychologist. Because every human being is different. So coming back to that reality of the world, and you have to be that level. You have to become like invisible leaders. You may never become a prime minister or a head of a religion or any organization. So forget about what you can do to the world. Focus on what you can do to your world around. And if that also does not happen, focus on how you will make your life wonderful. Because ultimately you were born alone, you are also actually living alone, and you will die alone. It is only an illusion that you are related to your husband, your children, your friends and colleagues. It is a stupid illusion, that's all. Okay, some meaning in that. If you have money, you buy food for them. If they have money, they will buy food for you and they will accommodate you in their house or whatever it is. And in the current times, if something happens, even the relationship between father, wife, mother, father, children, everything will be affected also. That is the world today. Today, 2023. You are all going to live 2033, 2043, 2053, 2063, like that. Okay? I can see the future. It is really, really dangerous. Dangerous in a different sense, including real dangers also. So at that point of time, you shall not be defeated. Primary point, you shall not be defeated. That is ultimate one. Secondly, your trainees, your group of people should come to you for guidance and mentorship and leadership. I am sure it will come. That's why I am talking to you like this. It has come to everyone even before, to whom I told like this. All these languages are just a way to convey you this message. To be aware of this network reality, all the factors together operating, politics and the corporations and the economies and the healthcare industry and manufacturing industries and food industry and health industry, all these are working in a different level. People are finding fault with the owners of that company. Actually, no. Even they are helpless. They are all unknowingly following a program. Because the nature process or everything in this nature is liable to be decayed and destroyed and dissipated. So it is not a conscious plan of DuPont or Bill Gates or who are those criminal evils. They are forced to do that. They do not know why they are doing that. These are all inevitable realities. Humanity has to perish. And the beginning is already there, and it will speed up even during your lifetime. So instead of thinking about what you have to do, just go on observing the network relationship of realities. Then insights will evolve, automatically enter into your consciousness. And when I wanted you to visualize your body as a full package of pearls, that is a better way Then visualizing your skeleton system, the muscular system, the heart, the lungs, the intestines and the kidney and the bones or the thighs and the calf muscles and all that. Because attention will go only linear. That linearity will not work if you want to visualize your body as a sack in the form of the body. A sack meaning a cover, a skin cover in that form of the body. And in that skin cover is filled with some little things. So comfortable to visualize is some green colored pebble like thing, small beads. Then your attention will not get locked or trapped in one point alone. So it is an easy way to see the whole, WHOL, the whole of the creature or that system than other thing. Of course, what Christabel said, that's also good, but next step is this. And it will help you not only get into tuning with the creature, but it will help your attention process to have that kind of a network perception of the reality. Because reality is always networking relationship. Everything is interconnected. But our attention controlled by our language and our knowledge about them is corrupting. Our perception of the world is mediated by the language. Whatever you look at, immediately the name of that comes into your mind. Finished.
It's
Your connection is lost. That energy connection is lost. That you will know only when you get it, what to do. So, therefore I am telling the basics. That is, every time our observation, our attention to the world, our perception of the world, they are all controlled by that obsession, that what you call it, that obsessive compulsive neurosis of language. Without language, you just cannot look at things, you just cannot sense things, just cannot observe things. That's why it has become, because so many years of practice. And you have to apply a little bit of an effortful attempt to get rid of the tentacles, what you call, the crime committed by that language in corrupting your perception of reality, of your own self. Why you are not able to really feel yourself? Are you able to? What else? Now, what are other examples you would like to suggest about this linear language or language and reality? Are you clear that language is a linear process? Thinking is a linear process?
Yes.
But perception is not.
We even have the same, it says the train of thoughts, like it's chained to one another.
Yeah. But don't bother about it much, because when you want to really conceptualize them with the network perception, that will happen only in a linear way, because language can be like that only. One word at a time. And in a certain speed only. That's the problem with language. Language reduces the speed of your mental process. Okay? Because every language can be thought or processed in a certain speed only. You can try it yourself, or you put a tape recorder or the conventional audio tape, the ribbon tape. You increase the speed. Then nothing is audible. It's only a fast flow of sounds. It, that language works only in a certain range of speed. Below that speed, not audible, not clear. Beyond that range, again not audible. You try to pronounce your own name in slow speed. Can you pronounce the word Nitya in 10 seconds? Your own name? Try that. Not now. So experiment with the language. Don't-
Yeah, the speed, with the speed, certain speed, the body can't even handle also.
Yeah,
With
language.
the breathe. Not, I'm talking in relation to learning some music. So, for instance, the music notes sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. If it is, there are 4 speeds they suggest. The 4th speed, if you practice, it's not easy. It is not easy to practice. Like with the breathing control, it becomes difficult. Like, and it's a good way to extend our breathing as well as the music ability. So similarly, if we talk language beyond a certain speed, even the body will have to be tuned according to that.
In the normal language, you just cannot talk in the speed beyond the point. You just cannot talk beyond the speed. You just cannot talk. It is not possible. But the speeds of your neuronal process are immensely faster. You're, you can. That's why you have to focus your attention on your body, the creature. Can you reproduce? Can you describe one of the most deep experience of you, a moment of you? Try that.
I remember one point, I can describe that,
Not remember. The,
which made a big impression
all
in
right,
me.
okay. So,
Just to,
and recall that impression. This is the first thing. Recall that impression. Okay, got it?
Mhm.
Now talk about it.
Okay, this is about 7 years ago. I was in an office supply store, and I was going through a bit of depressive time in my life, and I see this elderly couple who might be around 80 or 75, 80, that age group, retired, and they were happily walking around the aisle and picking up some stuff. And in my depressive state, I thought that they have already, this how lucky they are, they have already lived up to this age, so they don't have to worry so much. Whereas I was early 40s and I still have to live so long. So it kind of, I remember that moment because I thought like how depressive a person has to be to see that they have to live more years now.
So, So what were you talking now? What did you speak now?
I spoke about a moment that created a deeper, like, where when you experience yourself deeply.
No, language is not good. Language is not really creative. That's a word I have to use now. What was the deep? What made you report it now? What made you say that it was a deep experience? What is so deep in that? Are you able to communicate that so-called depth of it?
I think it's
Are
a
you able to
path.
put into language that so-called depth of it? How will you do that?
Sir, I think it's a pathos of that moment, which Nitya is
No, no,
talking
no.
about.
That's all just a again word. Pathos of that moment by saying that. What did you say? What did you? Why do you talk something to? First of all, you understand the language. Why do you talk something to somebody? You cannot talk to your pencil. Okay? You talk to another human being. When you talk to another human being, what are the parameters you are considering? Some tip of the impression and some language that occurs to you and just like delivering it, that you are able to do because of 40 years of practice using available languages and available sentences. How many sentences or how many word structure was your own when you claimed that it was a so-called deep whatever? What was deep in that? You claim that it was a deep impression.
Deep impression because it didn't leave me at all, because there are so many incidents happen in everyday life.
No, 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 no. So you made a quick scan of all that at that point of time, that's why it was a deep. Now you are telling that. At that point of time you made a scan of so many incidents and vis-a-vis that this is something and therefore you felt it deep. No. What precisely, because you said it happened about 7 years back, so, and uh, definitely it must have been something very significant, but that significance is not at all conveyed, because that is the clarity of attention required at the level of that geniusness which I am talking about, which you have to talk. So let the others say, what was depth, what was deep in that, in what she said?
Sir, it was a point where she, and that certain point she looked back and she looked ahead. And there was a thought of what maybe what would she wanted it to be, and seeing a dissonance in it.
So right now it is like that. She at a moment she had a network reality experience. Network meaning, as you said, when you said that, that reality is that is called a reality at this point. That is what I call reality now. Which is there every moment also, even right now. But we are discussing again, we can discuss only about one thing at a given time, next thing at next moment of time, etc. etc. Though in our mind all of them are seen. I don't know whether you get it. You see? For example, right now in your mind, you can close your eyes and you can get a quick scan of your entire life till now. Like you see a huge horizon standing on top of a mountain. Okay. But when you start talking about it, you talk about one part, one tree, one stone, one hill, one river, etc. That is the primary problem. Okay, that's okay. Here we are entering into another. There was a deep reality involved, because she said it was a significant experience, which is even now when she is asked to say something significant, uh, she began by saying that it happened 7 years back. Why did you say it happened 7 years back? What made you say it is 7 years back? I am not questioning you, reflect upon that. What was the purpose of having that introduction 7 years back? Create a purpose now.
It has changed now. If I see the same people again just now, I will not have the same kind of emotions or same kind of thoughts.
That is why you said it is 7 years back.
Not because of that, actually it happened 7 years back.
Why do you say that? What is the advantage of saying that it happened 7 years back? Give your logic.
One thing, it is memorable, that's why I still remember.
So if it had happened yesterday, it will not be like that?
It would be even more clearer, even more clear if it has happened yesterday.
And that is not a precise answer to the question. The question is still around that 7 years. Okay. Why did you say 7 years? Then in that context I said, if it happened yesterday, would you say the same thing? If I counteract with you like this, how will you manage it? Manage it. These are the real tests of you, okay? Now in the subsequent sessions it will proceed like this only. There is no point in just like that listening. You have to try, you have to test yourself. I have to test you. Do you give a real logic why you said 7 years back?
I was younger at that time.
So what? Therefore?
For a younger person to wonder that they had to still live for.
In which case, that could have been a variable, that could have been a clause, CLIUSE clause, in explaining the significance of it. That you did not use. Then why did you use the word 7 years back? Was it the purpose? Okay, but you gave an explanation. That's okay. Okay, good. 7 years back, you were a little more sensitive, and now that sensitivity is not here right now for yesterday. Or you understood everything about life and its possibilities by looking at that people at that 7 years back and finished. Okay, that is over. That you managed it a little bit. But now, are you convinced that you could convey the so-called depth which you claimed?
No.
Yeah, that's all. How can you do that? How would you do that? But at the same time, see, you are sure that it had a depth of experience.
Yes.
And why that sure feeling is not translated into a so-called language with all your words, all your knowledges, all your experience, all your... then what is the guarantee that people are communicating their depth of feelings and experiences and perceptions? And they are complaining about other people not understanding them. Point number one. Point number two. Will you be able to make somebody else explain their so-called depth of experience or their problem, etc.? Do you think what they say is their problem? No. That is their language of that problem.
Yes, sir. Right.
And that language is controlling their perceptions about life at that given point of time also. Because everybody is carrying the girls, I am using that metaphor of the Zen parable. Everybody is carrying a lot of languages in them. Get the point? Especially about their so-called negative experiences, about their failures, about their depressive moments. They are all in their so-called just below the level of so-called consciousness, just in the pre-conscious or subconscious or in the unconscious. It is all in the unconscious. And every human being is a representation of that unconsciousness standing before you. Not in the office and all that, even in the office, which they are not aware. But you should be aware that you are confronting a big bundle of unconscious impressions and perceptions and images and languages.
Exactly.
That language, that running language is maintaining the mindset and attitude and feelings of a person at a given point of time. Are you aware, Sarah? You heard it? The current, right now, the reality is that you are right now there in that web of what you call network, net, not a two-dimensional network, an n-dimensional network. So do not carry so understand this, resolve this issue. That's a side topic. Coming back, do you think you will be able to communicate the so-called depth of experience of that moment? What was deep in that? Come on, tell me right now. Deep or whatever, forget about that part. Deep meaning it got impressed. It got a very serious, very significant, very rigorous, very deep, so-called etching. It etched an impression in your so-called mind. Okay.
And
Yeah.
just and a thought that when you said the fluidity of that moment, because I was going through a turbulent time emotionally, and in that turbulence, so this moment was something like I could relate to, and then I could
All right.
think about it much more after that also.
Okay. So from that, what is your analysis? What is your conclusion? How do you analyze that situation? So what is the critical point in that? Okay, Tindin, can you say what is the critical point there? Now she said it. Now what is your understanding? Tindin or Sarah or now she said a tip about that. She gave a clue or she mentioned a clue.
She
Bo-
talked about a difficult time and the turbulence, and she could connect.
That she talked about, but what is your analysis of that? Any analysis on that? Any conclusions on that? Any derivations on that which can have far-reaching implications? Yes.
Internally, I was looking probably a way to come out of that situation also, and probably that intention kind of looking everywhere more observantly, more attentively.
Something has triggered that memory recently for you.
No?
No, no, sir.
Just-
That's a question you can ask after 1 hour of interviewing her about this. I can interview her for another 1 hour about this incident. There is another beautiful conclusion possible. Because she says she became more attentive and all that. No. A certain situation impressed her mindset.
And she started to view the future. That's why after 7 years she is sitting here, because of the mental impression she has taken from that incident.
Once again, don't talk so fast. Once again.
When she saw that incident, I think she started to visualize her future, a bright future, because she wanted to she wanted to fix that situation as like any other human being. Maybe because of that reason, after 7 years in her language, she is sitting here.
Oh, there's a little far-reaching analysis. You know, it was not an event or anything. She just saw. Can you say what she said? The essence of what she said, Sara? She just two elderly couple. That's all. She did not even talk to them. Am I right?
No.
Yeah, no. She said she just saw two elderly couple. Not any event or anything. She did not talk to them. She just saw that. She says she attended to that. She must have focused her attention because of something. That's something which she said now. But anyway, because of my retorting like this, do not stop your, and I told you, you have to freak out. You are not freaking out. You are all still sitting there little bit rigid. Sometimes I wonder, I think about this more than what you think about my sessions.
What happened is that actually that incident is not touching my heart.
Why?
Because I think the language and expressions are not enough to express the feelings. That is
yeah.
what I'm actually honestly feeling. That is what I'm not able to reflect my thoughts.
Exactly, that's what I also said.
For me, it's a normal incident.
No, that is not the question. The point is that if she had experienced a death, she should have that language to capture that reality. It was a reality. Our topic today is language and reality. I am qualifying that language and reality by what I defined earlier. That language will be only linear and reality is always a verb. Okay? So this was a reality for her at that point of time, but that language is not capturing it.
Sir,
That's why you did not feel anything about it, Sarah. That's all. But
Sir,
there
please,
is.
can I just interrupt?
Yeah, please,
I got
please.
cut off just when Nitya was saying that, so I don't know what the context is. So for the past 5-10 minutes, I'm trying to figure out what you all are talking about. I got cut off.
Yeah. You got cut off, meaning what? The
My
connection.
internet.
Okay, all right. The thing is, um, uh, because it is about language and reality, it is not a big philosophic topic or no. I told you we are not talking philosophies, nothing. I am talking complete real practicality of possible, probable evolution of every one of you. Okay? Now, the topic was, I asked whether anyone can languageify, put into language a reality that they remember. So, for the time being, because of the constraints of the time of this program or this session, something memorable, something significant, etc. words I used. Then Nitya initiated, and she said that 7 years back, in a department store or somewhere, she saw two elderly couple. And she said she thought about her future or her past, or that she said she thought they are so lucky at that time. They have already reached that time. She will have to travel that much of time. This is what she said, which I am reproducing now. This you should have said now. What made sorry, I am not going into that. That's what she said. Then I asked her some questions, because the topic today is...
Yes, yeah, I only missed what she said.
yeah, that's all she said.
Okay, thank you.
This is more or less what she said.
Okay. Thank you.
But she said something more which I am not reproducing now, because that carries the clue of the depth. And I am questioning her now why it was so impressive.
It's 23 hours.
To which she is not able to give a real consistent, real creative logic.
Sir, I had thought about it before also. So one of the things I felt was, this is kind of an analogy, like how a depressive person will see the world. Because even living, because people want to live longer, but at that time I felt living another 30 years or 40 years like a burden. I saw it as a burden at that time. So that's why I had that surprise seeing this elderly couple. They have already reached that stage. So why a normal person would be happy? They are young and they still have got so many good years to live. But then at that moment I felt, oh my goodness, it's a burden, kind of.
So, genius in self is just a term I use, because I already told you. It is the same as, I can say that Rishi, making every one of you a Rishi, making every one of you a mystic, at the level of the greatest mystic, okay, why not? What is preventing you? Greatest mystics were educated in Stanford and Oxford and wherever, what? They were the most uneducated. Even some of, that is same with the so-called creative people and most of the geniuses. But some of them had gone to some colleges and universities, some degrees, some of them. But I don't think any one of the so-called mystics of the ancient past who created the foundations of the humanity today had any amount of education with anybody. I have never heard of anybody, or Patanjali or Dhanvantari or Sushrita or Vyasa talking about their gurus. No. We consider them as gurus. Who were their gurus? That should be why it is not a challenging proposition to you. This I must ask somebody. So I have chosen you people to ask this question. I have asked this question from my adult times, from 25, 26 years old, at that time itself. What is preventing? It is only the language of you, the language of you about you. How do you describe you? If you cannot describe, and even a so-called touching even of such a small proportion, how will you ever describe the you as a genius? And for your information, every genius who have been studied by researchers, they were all capable of a great self-perception. Like if you are a dancer, you are aware that you are a dancer. If you are an M.Tech, you are aware that you are an M.Tech. Similarly, they are aware, they may not talk about it publicly, but they have revealed it to a number of researchers. A rishi or a mystic is known to the world. Why? How? Through their language. Bible is a beautiful language. The Quran is a beautiful language. Bhagavad Gita is a great language. That's why it is able to control and capture the entire humanity. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it a complex language that like what calculus or mechanics or dynamics in bloody physics and chemistry and technologies? Not at all. So, Genius in Soul program will now onwards continue like this only. Every session you have to test yourself. So reflect on that. But at the same time, there is something very appreciable in what Nitya said. What is that? Come on, let us analyze that now. The other people, come on. Okay, Sarah, there is an element which is surprising there, some mysterious there. What is that? Sarah, come on.
Sir, could you please allow, I don't actually get the question.
Sometime back I asked you a question. Following my suggestion in some of the previous sessions, are you focusing on the language of other people? Language
Yes,
meaning whatever they talk. They are talking in a language. What they talk, how they talk, etc. Okay? That is for you to understand that person more, to understand their language capacity, their intellectual capacity, even their much more deeper aspects. Plus, it will help you evolve the quality of highly precise language, meaning able to talk what you really want to talk. Okay? That is the background. Okay, now, Nitya said that event. Event meaning not two people there. Event meaning Nitya seeing that and getting all this thing is called the event. Event is not that two people standing there. Event here meaning 7 years back the lady named Nitya seeing two elderly couples and having that moment of impression which she is remembering even now. After having so much of experience, so much of extra learning, so much of wider perspectives and traveling most of the parts of the world, just imagine. So, what is something interesting, so-called interesting in what she said? Come on, can you say that? If you are listening to what she said, come on, say that.
In everyone's life.
No. Beginning itself is wrong.
Okay.
Wrong in the sense that not clearly precise. Mind you, my dear friends, you want precise pencils, precise pens, precise laptops, precise mobile phones, precise everything. And what about your precision of using the only one tool of you, language? That's what we are trying for. And that's not that easy. Any bloody buddy on the road can talk, especially today, okay? A beggar on the road also can talk politics today. So in which way your talking is different? In which way your analysis is wonderful of the level of the genius? Forget about the level of genius. My question is simple. Luckily, she narrated that moment. In that, what is special? Or did you notice anything special in what she said? We were talking about what? Listen to other people's language, okay? Language and reality is the topic today. Right now, the reality is what you said. Do you get it? Tintin? Reality I am not talking about is 20 years back. Reality right now is what Nitya reported. That reality, how do you capture in the language? Come on. What did you see? If you had listened to her talking, what special you notice? There is something definitely special. For reason number one, what is that reason? Come on.
She realized the beauty of the
All right,
love.
one, two.
But she remembered something that happened so
Absolutely,
long.
absolutely. 7 years back. Okay? Exactly. Now, tell me what is special. Therefore, it was special. What else makes something special? As of now, we decide that this makes that thing special. I use the word thing. Like 7 years back it happened, and etc. And it was about something, there must have been something special. What is that special? What all specialty you notice now? What all specialties you identify? Why do you worry? It's not an examination or anything. Come on, begin.
One specialty that stands out to me is that usually, especially about things that happened such a long time ago, what she remembers is how she felt and her thoughts during that time.
Okay.
Most people don't remember their thoughts.
No, don't add most people and all that. That you don't know. You are not a researcher. How do you say most people do not remember? Everybody will have something else to remember. Okay?
Yeah. So what's special here, which I felt was special, was that she remembered what she thought at that moment. So I
All right.
think that's-
Okay. 1, 2. One reason I face a difficulty that this kind of a session cannot be done in 2 hours. In 2 hours I can do what I have been doing, talking to you and occasionally asking you something. That's why I asked you today with a question. Are you feeling that this sessions are advantageous? Is it really beneficial to you?
Sir, can I try?
When you okay.
Come on, Sarah, one more chance, please.
Yes, sir. So,
Sarah, yes.
When you ask the question to describe an event which impact our mind,
Our mind.
within our mind, in the sense,
Okay, all right, impact our
you
mind.
gave a chance to speak. I mean, she initiated it. So when you ask that question, it triggered her memory. Somewhere she is carrying that pain, in the sense whenever she is thinking about that incident, she can literally feel that effect in her body. So she recollected that event. Though she is unable to express it with the language, in her brain she is actually having that feeling.
Sarah, what you said is a kind of an analysis. All right, okay. That you should have said some time back. Right now the question has changed. The reality of now is that the question got changed. What is the question now? Come on, tell me, what is the question now?
what was remarkable?
Yeah, what is special in that? Okay, special or words are okay, special or remarkable, about interesting, etc. Not what you said, Sarah. That you said as an analysis. Okay, good. Okay, good analysis. But that also is very important. You have to. Our topic today is reality and language. Reality now changed. 5 minutes back the reality was an analysis. Tintin said something and we stopped in between. Then I changed the question. There is something special about what she said. What is that speciality? One Mandra Rishika said, even after 7 years, she was able to report that feeling. Alright. That you cannot deny. Definitely yes. Alright. Because 7 years is a real pretty long time. And oh, I don't want to give you any clue. Okay, come on.
She has a good memory power.
She sat down and learned it for 2 hours. So that is called memory power. Okay, but I appreciate your freaking out with the answers. Okay, good. No, that's not okay, sir. No. Question is, what is special about what she reported?
Language enable that feeling to be triggered again.
Which language?
The question
Which
asking
question?
about even triggered that memory, and that memory triggered emotions which were there before.
Oh, that's also an analysis only. No. Now the critical point here is with a purpose. I am not just interrogating or asking questions. There is a purpose that there is something very beautiful in what she said. Now I am adding more and more qualifications. What is that beautifulness about it? Mandra had a clue there. Mandra Rishika mentioned a clue. But can you say, Mandra Rishika, what is beautiful about what she said?
I was thinking about the fact that by just looking at two old people walking, she was able to go to such extents of analysis of life in general.
Something exactly like that. Because two elderly couple is not at all any special thing. It is an easily available thing. You can see that in films. You can see just walking on the road. Anywhere. It is just, let's say, a very ordinary sight only. Do you understand, Sarah? It is like a falling stone. Nobody ever wondered about why things falling. Only one person in the history of humanity wondered. That was the beginning of entire scientific knowledge. And I have told you many times that the greatest mysteries are hiding in simple things. That's a related point. Okay. Now you got it, Tintin. What is special about it? I already said it. It is a very ordinary sight of two elderly people, couple, which she says she attended to. No. Some sensitivity in her made her focus on that. And she said a reason for that sensitivity also. What was that reason?
That she was going through some mental turmoil.
Exactly. That's why we say the so-called poets and short story writers and film actors and film directors and painters, they're all having wide variations of experiences in their life. They have been tested in the crucibles of life. Most of them lived in tragedies, which made them sensitive to the ranges of possibilities of existence. That only will make you more sensitive, not sitting in the comfort of the house or in the classrooms and definite locations and definite interaction with the definite people every day. Or that's why you should be reading a great lot of great fictions and great philosophies of existence available. If you have no time to experiment with the life, you can experiment with the life of, you can derive lessons from out of the experiments reported in the life of other people. There is a lot of mystery in that. In that way, there is a slight linkage, network connection with what Swara analyzed also. But she made it at a different time. There was something special in what Swara said. Can you say that, Swara herself? Can you say what you said as a special? Though it was not the answer to the question, your analysis contained a beautiful point. What is that? No idea. That is what I said. You should be able to know your beauty. That you are not able to. That's why Nitya gave a talk like A plus B the whole squared after some time back. You remember?
Or Sundar Ji mein.
A stupidly dull reproduction of something by-hearted like that. With no feelings, nothing. Yes, come on, Sarah. Yes, what? One more point.
In my perspective, as she is a mystic, or she is an extraordinary intelligent person. That is why she actually found something extraordinary with an ordinary incident. First point.
Yeah.
Second point, that incident is actually, there is a turning point. I will say that it actually triggered her to visualize a bright future.
Now, why do you say bright future?
In the sense, happiness. At that time of point, she was depressed. For that point, happiness is a critical thing.
Anyway, we can go on like this anyway, Sarah. Now I want you also to give you a clue how to listen to what somebody says. I just demonstrated it. Got it? I demonstrated it. And I also asked you what is special in what you said. It is in connection with what I said in the previous program and what I asked today. This is the way you have to listen to whatever you have to hear or you have to notice, you have to be aware of what other people talk. These are all highly extreme examples that we are having in our sessions. This kind of situations may not happen in life, but it can also happen in life. And we do that because that much of experience you should develop, you should have. Because all this will be required at a later point of time. Alright. Tinin wanted to say something in between. What was that?
I think it was more or less what Sarah was trying to say, sir.
Alright, okay. Okay. Now, almost 11:30. Okay. This kind of session should be from morning 9:30 to night 2 o'clock.
I realize that now, sir.
That's why my training programs were all from 9:30 to night 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Because it was not about teaching something, it was about making other people think. But these sessions are not really suitable for that. Right now we took almost 45 minutes just to reflect upon this, what Nitya said. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more people sitting there. So this is a demonstration. So you got some clues on how to proceed listening to what other people say? Do you get some clues on how to question, how to so-called interview other people? How to observe other people? And you have to do a similar interview when you read great books also. Interview does not mean question and answer alone. Interview. I have told publicly, I have interviewed Jesus, I have interviewed Krishna, I have interviewed Vyasa, I have interviewed Muhammad, I have interviewed Tagore, I have interviewed all of them. Because I consider their writing as an interview report. What they say is their experience, okay? Whereas majority of people are taking it as a divine language and they just mug it up and go on reproducing that. They don't want to understand Jesus. They don't want to understand Buddha. They don't want to understand, I don't know what is there to understand in Quran and all that, I don't know. They don't want to understand Krishna. They don't want to understand Arjuna. They don't want to understand Drona. They want to mug it up all, like textbooks in kindergarten schools. That's what everybody is doing. Is that what you are also going to do? Then this program is bloody cancelled. I have stopped the programs which give me 1 lakh rupee a day. You know that? I do it with a solid, honest intention that I can make every one of you a genius himself in another 5-6 years of time. It's a test for me. I am trying my best. As I always do in whatever I do. Alright. So, listen to because other people are giving you a language and you have to see the reality they are representing in that language. To what extent they are able to produce it. And you also question yourself, are you able to represent your ideas? I don't think you want to be poets and short story writers and all that. Poets are capable of this. And I wanted every one of you to write poems also, not necessarily now in the subsequent sessions, not to write poems per se, but as a test of your ability to play around with it, do gymnastics, let us say so, creative gymnastics with the language. Not to language. Again I am going back to the central system. What is sitting there right now? Your language is controlling your perception about you, my dear friends. You see as the form that is sitting there wearing a dress with an identity. Basically you are nothing but a flesh, blood, skeleton thing sitting there. Your words are not written anywhere in your body. Your bloody memories are not registered anywhere in your body. Only your language is maintaining in the you. Okay. If it is so, let that language create and maintain a supreme being in you. Try that. Anyway, you are represented by your language. Okay? Alright. Okay, good night.